Okay, so Odysseus and his boys are on their way back home to Ithaca after lighting it up in Troy for the past 10 years, but they get lost somewhere along the way and eventually wash up on this island. After walking around and checking the place out for a bit, they find this cave that ends up being home to this one-eyed feller named Polyphemus. Now, as you're going to see here in a minute, this guy really does not like trespassers. So they go into this cave, and the first thing they see is this pile of cheese or something sitting in the corner. Now, they've been out at sea for Neptune knows how long, so I would imagine they're probably really hungry, and so they start going to town on this dude's cheese. As they're doing this, the man of the hour himself gets home with his flock of sheep and notices the guys eating up all of his food. Of course, now he's pissed off, and so he traps them in the cave by placing this big-ass rock in front of the entrance. He then proceeds to grab one of the guys and starts eating them. Now, I'm not sure I would go quite that far when dealing with trespassers, but I can kinda understand his frustration. So this goes on for a couple of days. Polyphemus goes to work, comes home, eats a couple of dudes, rinse, wash, and repeat. Then Odysseus comes up with a plan. They're going to get Polyphemus drunk off his ass until he passes out, and then they stab his eye out with this big-ass stick that they found somewhere in the cave and sharpened to a point. So now Polyphemus is really pissed off. He's screaming, he's cussing and hollering, and for whatever reason he decides to move the rock out from in front of the cave to let all the sheep out. I guess the idea was to feel around for Odysseus and the guys as they try to make a break for it, but Odysseus ain't that stupid, and so he ties himself to one of the sheep so that he can get past Polyphemus unnoticed. So once they're all out of the cave, they get back on the boat and get the hell out of there, but of course Odysseus can't keep his big mouth shut and starts teasing and mocking the guys that are rolling up out of there. Of course, this just makes him even more upset, and so he picks up this rock and hurls it towards the boat. And he misses, of course, since he's blind and shit, but now Odysseus really fucks up by telling Polyphemus' name. So Polyphemus tells his dad, Poseidon, that Odysseus stabbed his eye out and called him stupid, so Poseidon's like, okay, son, I'll deal with it. And that's basically how Odysseus ends up stuck on Calypso's island for the next 10 years.